There's some scenarios where there's a route that's in pretty much all of your URLs. And it's not something you actually need in the controllers. Like an example of this might be a tenant ID in a multi-tenant system, or maybe a language code if you have localization as part of the URL string. And so I want to show a nice tip that tells you how to get around having to include this in every single controller action where it's not necessary. So let's take a look at the example code. It'll make the problem a little more clear, and then I'll show the solution. All right, so this is a very simple example, but we have a group where every single URL is going to start with this language prefix. So this might be something like EN for English or FR for French. And then there's a middleware. I'm going to show that next. And then this is the rest of your app. Again, for this demo, I just have a couple routes in here, but they're all, because it builds the URL, they're all going to start with this language prefix. So let's take a quick look at the middleware just to see what it's doing. So the middleware is actually where it's using that lang route. It's inspecting it. If it matches one of the known values, it sets it at the app level, and then it goes on with the rest of the middleware or controller logic. Then in our controller, you can see I'm spitting out what is the locale, right? So here's an index example, and here's one maybe for a specific product page. And we're saying the locale is English and the product is 123. So if I show what this looks like, yeah, I have a URL loaded. So there's FR for French. The locale is FR and the product is 123. But as you'll see, I'm not actually using lang anywhere in the controller. I'm accessing the locale, if at all. I mean, I mainly have it here just for this demo, but even if I needed the locale, I would get it from the app instance. I wouldn't inspect it from here. So I have to include it there, because watch what happens. If I remove this, especially in this example where there's multiple parameters, and I save that, and now I go back to show this, it's positional based, right? So this 123 is getting lost. It's just assigning the first route parameter to the first argument in my controller action, right? So FR is going into product just because of that positional nature of those route parameters. So how can we fix this? Here's the solution. Right back in set locale, we can add one line to this middleware that solves the problem for us. So let's see what that looks like. So after we've used the route, we've set the locale, there's an option here, or a method on the route, to forget a parameter. It basically removes it from the route. Now, with that in place, I can come back here and I can remove these. Do the same thing here. And if I look at my code or look at the live demo, now it works. So the locale is still being set, the middleware is still using that route, but then it forgets it. So downstream of that, other middleware, especially the controller action, they don't have to account for it anymore. So this is probably not a method that you use a lot, if ever, but it fits this particular use case perfectly. So I just wanted to share that with you. I ran into this on a project and I found it very helpful. Hope you do too.